So thanks again for finding the time to be here. Some of the interesting questions we were getting as we are doing our work is and this question, by the way, it wasn't a part of the program, but it came up because we literally had that question enough times to figure that we might as well just talk about it. And it's been around, well, we have had a lot of buzz around Bitcoin and all these other cryptocurrencies, but the one thing they all have in common, well, besides Kobo, is the fact that they aren't African. They don't have that African heritage, and a lot of guys have been asking, what about us? Like, what possibilities are there for us to do something similar? So we just wanted to review and just basically take questions and do a back and forth regarding what possibilities there are for an African coin, what developments are already happening elsewhere in other parts, because it's not just, for example, locally in Kenya where we are working on cryptocurrency, right? There's places like Nigeria, in Southern Africa, where they are working on different other kinds of initiatives that were inspired by Bitcoin. So the idea being, if we can be able to find a way to bring all those initiatives together, we could develop something bigger than, I believe, Bitcoin, right? But it would have to take a lot of collaboration amongst ourselves, a lot of talking discussions like this. This may probably just be the first. Probably so many more discussions like this will have to happen before the community can even consider something like an African Bitcoin. Yeah. So I guess the first step would be asking ourselves what would we really gain out of having an African coin? Because right now there is Bitcoin already existing, but it is placed in an environment where it's out of reach for many of us Africans. And we were in a position where if we do, as Africa, decide to invest in Bitcoin, like many guys say, we'll just be making a lot of white teenagers really rich, right? So what options are there for us to transfer that wealth or to use that technology to facilitate the generation of wealth amongst ourselves? So I guess the first I'd like to first ask Ala to talk a bit about any coins or any initiatives that she's working on in Botswana, and how the interest in the African kind of blockchain is in Botswana. Is there hope for an African coin from Botswana's perspective, or where are things looking in that regard? And probably Felix can pick it up the same as we go along. So I'll just let you start.
Hi guys. Thank you, Alan, for the opportunity, to be sitting up front before you. Always makes me shake. Okay. Yeah. You asked what initiative are we doing in Botswana as far as cryptocurrency is concerned. We are actually working on a project which we haven't yet made public, but we're going to be sharing with you before we can make it public to the people. So we have come with a project. It already has a prototype. It's more like a farmers management system built on the blockchain with its own. We try to build it with its own storage, with its own kind of blockchain, and also with its own token that should be verifying a lot of stuff in that platform. It's actually a platform that works for Africa. The platform that we created was focusing on real life things that are happening in Africa. We've got a lot of things that are happening in Africa that really need the blockchain solution. So we came up with something. I'm not going to tell you what. We came up with something. As time progresses, then I think we're going to come back here, or we're going to come to Botswana. Then we're going to release the project to the people, because we feel that we cannot release to the people when we have not yet sharpened it and made it like, we have to come back with a fully fledged project to you, and we show it to you. So we came all the way from Botswana to come and show our friends and our partners to what we are doing, so that we can finally complete the project, and then we release the project to the Africans. It's a project that is made for the Africans, but it can work anywhere around the world. So this is one project that we're actually working on, and by the time we leave here, we'll be ready to share it. You'll be coming to Bitsoko and be asking, what is it that they're doing? We are doing something, and that something is going to benefit all of you. So looking at that, what we did, I think an African coin, if you were to create an African coin, it should be a coin that will actually work for Africa. I always believe in creating, whenever you want to create a token or a coin, there should be a technology behind it. What is it at the end of the day? Will the token be doing? Is it only about releasing millions and millions of tokens that raise money, and then what? That is always my question. So I think yes, there is a possibility of an African coin, but they should, when we are to create that token, there are going to be a lot of things that we're going to look at. What are we going to be using the token for? Who are our users? Who are the people that are going to be using the token? And also, how are we going to tackle or how do I say, reach out to the people that might actually need it more than us who are in town, the people in the village? How are we going to reach them? So there are a lot of things that we're going to sit down and consider if you are to make an African coin. Or we can take the already existing coin and we see how we can. I don't know. It's a you see what I mean? To me, there was a time that I was very, very passionate about creating our own African coin. But if you've got somebody in Africa who's already created a coin like Kuku coin, somehow I support Kuku coin, I don't know why. Maybe you bewitched me a little bit. Africa we used
it was the water.
I suspect the water. So if we have something that actually works, why can't we adopt it and push it? You understand me? Why can't we adopt it and push it and make it work for us? We have already pushed the Bitcoin. I think a lot of us have spent a lot of our time without our families. And most of the time we're not with our families because we are pushing Bitcoin. We are pushing the cryptocurrency Bitcoin or some other person's token or whatever. But if it's an African thing, why can't we, if we cannot adopt one, let's take the different ideas, like the one that we have created, the bit that they have created, the cool coin that they've created, cryptogen, I hear there's another cryptogen in Nigeria or something, I haven't seen it. Whatever that the Africans have created, why can't we take and look at all the technologies that they're trying to come up with and see if not we can come up with something like better and solid and call it not an African coin. Call it something, because once we say African coin, it's like we're eliminating other people to use it.
Yeah.
So we come up with a name, but we know that this coin has been created by African, not only by one person, but by a group of people with different minds coming together, like what you are doing today. With different minds coming together and we meet, and then we come up with this super amazing technology that's going to solve a lot of things. Ethereum today, the reason why it's getting a lot of backup from these big guys and all that is because they've come up with a solution to something. So also we can look at Africa in general. What are the common problems that we are facing as Africans? What is it that, the token that we are creating going to be able to solve? And how is it going to be able to do that? I don't know if...
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. A lot of the reason why some of the cryptocurrencies that are out there are successful is because they have an established and active community around it. You have not just the developers who are important, but you have just, like in Kenya we say mafans, just the guys who are always just there like, hey, you need to do this, even if they're just trolling or giving some other pretty pointless point. The fact that they're giving it means that they're actively engaged in the community. So as I pass the same question to Felix, I'd just like to find out a bit more about, tell us about how you feel the mood for an African-based currency is in Nigeria, and what about the community behind it? Are devs ready? Are devs active? Or even if it's not just developers, are people active about, excited about it?
Right, well, what I would say is, I don't think there is, at this moment in time, it's almost like, I would say, you work from the bottom up and not from the top down. As in, rather than thinking of a coin, there's enough coins. If you want to do anything with a coin exists. What we need to look at is, for example, building a platform that we can offer solutions on. Whichever platform you build, there will be a token that comes with it. So you can forget about that, whatever platform. So for example, when I've been here, I've seen different technologies, I've seen storage, I've seen smart contract, I've seen currency, what's it, Internet of Things. Why don't we as a group build a platform that actually combines all of these? Because once you've built it, then the token will exist anywhere. It doesn't, and the thing is, you don't need to call it coin, you can call it sand. What's in abundance in Africa? Red soil. Is there a word that everybody can identify with red soil that we can all unite behind? It doesn't need to be called coin. You know, it can be Ethereum. Nowadays, calling something coin is sort of, is early crypto. Nowadays, you can give it any name you want. But the thing is, the token on top also doesn't need to, you can call it whatever you want. So what I would say the thing to do is to decide what we want the platform to do, and then look at the technologies that exist and build that platform and release it. So it's the same with building websites. So for example, nobody builds a website with just HTML anymore. You have HTML, PHP, MySQL backend, you know, JavaScript, you know, you have